They printed futures on paper thin as promises, stamped with velvet lies and a smiling architect's crest. Balance sheets of heaven written in synthetic ink, collateral for the night they sold as morning's best. In marble halls they whisper growth like scripture, signed off salvation with a fountain pen and a grin. Blood numbers swell like tides and the margins learn to thirst, and every quiet overdraft kept the fever in. We watch the fountains turn to coffers, watch the gardens go to grave, counted out our footsteps to a calendar that owed us pay. The ledger burns slow, but it burns clean. Every zero they added, now a scar on the scene. Interest compounding in hellfire principle unpaid. The great reset backfire, now the debts are being made. Curl like burned backwards flames, ink runs confessionals down the pavement veins. Auditors turn prophets with scorched lip eyes, reading footnotes of failure where the ash field lies. Environmental coupons clipped and archived, moral margins forfeited to the spreadsheet's hive. They amortize mercy until the last note sag, foreclosed on forgiveness with a signature that lagged. The calculators learn the rhythms of our sin, the algorithms fed on need. It learned our patterns too well, including the ones that broke us indeed. The ledger burns slow, but it burns clean. Every zero they added, now a scar on the scene. Compound interest of ruin accruing like rain. The numbers multiply like wolves, there's no one left to explain. Watch the columns topple in the square where they once stood tall. Receipts like prayer flags float and fall. Former kings in tailored suits count ashes in their palm, trying to rebalance heaven with a sewn up psalm. There's a creditor in the stars and voices in the wind, a climate of arrears where the seasons will rescind. You can't defer the sunrise, you cannot roll it out. When the ledgers start to smoke, every ledger sings its down. Every ledger sings its down. We see the interest compounding on the backs of ash and bone, the compounded cruelty, the compound loans. Legacy inflames the audit of what we left undone. No mercy in the margin when the reckoning is spun. They pawned the future for a quarterly delight, ignored the quiet creditors who held the night. Now the bonds they sold as sterling turned old sirens, their handwriting a chant. The city keeps the score and the smoke begins to dance. The ledger burns slow, but it burns clean. Every zero they added, now a scar on the scene. Interest compounding in hellfire, balance is erased. The great reset backfired, in ash we find our face. No more deferred maintenance on the heart, no more interest in disguise. The receipts we couldn't face now flame like truth across the skies. We'll learn to read the margins, we'll tally what remains. In the wake of the burning, we'll name our losses, make new gains. The ledger burns slow, the ledger burns clean. What they wrote without a conscience now is written on the street.